Connecting to your spirit guides. This is one of those things that for many people it comes very naturally, and it could have come without them even realizing it at first. And I think that it happened for me that way as well. When I was a very, very young child, I did not understand any of this spirituality stuff because I was kind of raised by scientists. We had a very scientific philosophy to life. But at a very young age, I had an invisible friend, and my invisible friend had a very unusual name. It wasn't like other people's invisible friends like Bob or Mary or whatever. It was Indian Munchie, which, is now somewhat a kind of a terrible thing to say because an Indian, a Native American, is what I was referring to. And this child, it was another child, I knew that was also a Native American, and perhaps his name had some sort of munch kind of sound to it, and I, as a little kid, just summed it up as Indian Munchie. In order to come up with something like that, I believe I was actually seeing a spirit guide of mine at that age, but I didn't know that, of course, at the time. I just called it my invisible friend, Indian Munchie, and that's all there was to it. Our spirit guides can come to us in so many different ways. And if you haven't noticed them yet, then this video might be able to help you get in more touch with them. Also, I'm going to be performing an activation that will increase your ability to channel or to receive information. So even if you do have access to your spirit guides, you definitely want to stay tuned for this activation because it can boost what you've already got. So let's go ahead and get started. Spirit guides. They come to us in so many different ways. There's so many different experiences that people have. It can be in numerology. It can be in all kinds of different types of signs. It can be visuals inside our heads. It can be auditory. We can hear voices. We can just know what to do. I can think of times where I was driving and maybe I wasn't paying as close of attention to the road as I should be. Either I was looking at my clock or my radio or whatever, and then I hear a voice that says, "Look up." And I immediately look up and I see that I may be drifting into the middle of the road. And there's an oncoming car. So they're with us all the time, and they're here to help us during our journeys. And most likely these beings that are with us, we have already been very associated with them outside of this 3D existence. And it's almost like I get this sense with mine that there's multiple, and we almost trade on and off. And sometimes I get to come here and be a human, and then one of the other ones gets to go to Earth, and I'm their spirit guide. I really feel this sense of brotherhood among my guides. So how would I feel that sense if I didn't get into contact with them in some way? It would be impossible for me to know this. So it comes through practice, or it comes through, I didn't even know it was happening, and now all of a sudden it's happening. So you need to be open to both. And I want you to really, truly open your mind to the possibility of it. Why wouldn't we be able to communicate through telepathy? We can actually communicate through telepathy. We are multidimensional beings. Yes, we are occupying 3D bodies, which I often call meat robots, and we're going around and interacting with this 3D world. But backing all of that, behind all of that, are these high vibrational beings of light that occupy multiple dimensions simultaneously. So when we tap into one of those, then all of a sudden it's very easy to have telepathy, to talk to our spirit guides, to have any number of experiences that would normally seem otherworldly or supernatural. So one of the best ways to actually tune in to your spirit guides is to tune in to your multidimensional self. Well, how do you do that? Well, first of all, it's easier when you love yourself unconditionally. If you truly love whoever it is that you are, then you have this confidence and this faith in what you're capable of. But if you're constantly in judgment for yourself, if you constantly doubt yourself and you don't think that you can handle this or that things work out for you very well, then it's going to be much more difficult, because you're going to have the preconceived notion that I'm not going to be able to talk to my guides. I don't understand what he's talking about. So you have to kind of start to shed that in any way possible. And here's one way. We can love ourselves unconditionally because we don't have to have conditions. It's actually a little bit easier to love yourself unconditionally than it is to love yourself conditionally. I love myself as long as I don't do something dumb. Okay. Well, what's something dumb? First of all, you have to have judgment to decide that something is dumb or not right, in which case you're pulling from a lower vibrational place. Okay, and then how in the heck are you ever going to get everything right and so therefore love yourself conditionally? It's impossible. Everyone is perfect with flaws. So actually loving yourself unconditionally is easier, because you love yourself no matter what this heck you do wrong. Oh, I put my foot in my mouth and I insulted my best friend and now they're mad at me. I love myself anyway. Oh, I ran over a squirrel or a skunk with the car. Darn it, I did not want to kill that being. Well, I love myself anyway. Oh, I did this thing where I got in trouble at work and now I don't know if I'm going to get fired or not. I love myself anyway. Whatever it is that you do, if you love yourself anyway, then there's no pressure. You don't have to try to adhere or appeal to your own very tight and difficult criteria to be loved. Do you believe that everyone deserves to be loved? If you don't, then this will be harder. But I think most of us do. We know that deep down everyone really deserves to be loved. Because even if they turn out to be awful people, they were once children who needed to be loved, and it seems highly likely that they weren't. And that's why they turned out and did terrible things. All right, so once you kind of can get at least past the idea of loving yourself unconditionally and believing that you are truly a multidimensional being, that you are here to do amazing things. If you believe that that's possible, if you kind of know it to be so, then the rest comes much easier. So the next steps are to really go into a meditative state. And this meditative state does not really have to be that advanced. You don't have to have a thoughtless mind. All you really need to do is just take a moment where you're not experiencing any interruptions and take that deep breath, take that moment to just be in solitude, to relax, to listen to the wind moving through the tree leaves, or to listen to the sound of a dog barking far away, or a lawnmower, or whatever. Just be in the space, just be in the now moment. Maybe there's a little bug flying around, you can hear its little wings. Just being in that particular moment at that particular time. What is it that you're feeling and experiencing? Hopefully it's peace. And when you're in that peaceful state, now it becomes much easier to tap beyond this place. When we're in the throes of the chaos of all the things that are going on, then that's a lot more difficult to do. But when we can really be at peace and allow this world for its magic to fill us and for its distractions to fall away, then we're going to tap into that multidimensional experience. And so you can just set your intention. You can make a request. Hello, dear guides. I would love it if you were to come to me and make your presence felt, make your presence known. Give me some sort of signal that you're there. And now you just have to wait and be open to whatever that signal might come as. Maybe it's going to come with a voice that comes clearly in your head. Hi, I'm your guide. But it might not. It might be much more subtle than that. It might be a shift in the noises that you were just paying attention to, the sounds. It might be some other kind of vision that you have, a visual that suddenly you get that you didn't have before. It could be that you start thinking about something out of the blue, and it's like, why am I thinking about that right now? Well, that's probably them starting to figure out ways to communicate with you. Because if you haven't talked to them up till now, it seems highly likely that you've blocked them, and you've blocked them with the distraction of thoughts, overthinking, being wrapped up in this world instead of being in that multidimensional place. So once you get that signal, once you get that notification from them, just like on your phone, then you know that you've begun the dialogue. And the best way to conduct this dialogue is to continue to ask questions while you're in that meditative state. They love to answer questions. They're very quick to answer questions. So you can ask any question about yourself or the world that you want. And if you do ask a question about yourself, I highly recommend you do it in the third person. You don't say, "Why do I get so upset when my mom calls?" Say, "Why does Elizabeth get so upset when her mom calls?" That helps separate you from the experience, and it puts you in the state of the observer. And then when you receive the information, that information is going to come crystal clear through you because you won't have a bias toward it. You will be separated from yourself just enough to be able to observe yourself rather than just be yourself. And if you don't get any answers, that's okay. That's part of this process. You simply stay in that meditative state. And if you start to get distracting thoughts, then go ahead and just restate the question and wait again, or pick another one. You always want to set your intention. You always want to call out and say, "Hey guides, I'm really excited to talk to you. I hope today's the day. Let's do this." And begin that process. And practice it as much as you need. And you're going to start to see something. You're not maybe going to see exactly what you expect or hear exactly what you expect, but something is going to start to occur. And maybe it won't even be, you'll be doing this for a week or two, and one night you'll have a dream that you'll wake up from and go, "Oh my gosh, I was talking to my guides in my dream. That's the first time that I can remember seeing them, yet there's this feeling that I've always seen them." That's when you know you've begun the dialogue. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited about this journey that you're about to embark on. And I would love it if you reached out to me and asked me any questions you might have about this process. Tell me stories about what you've gone through or what you've experienced. And maybe others who read the comments can learn from your stories and your experience. Well, let's go ahead and do the channeling activation. All I need you to do right now is close your eyes and take a nice big deep breath. The way my activations work is I'm going to say breath in, and when I do, you're going to take a nice big deep breath, you're going to hold it at the top, and you're going to wait for me to make an explosive sound. And then you can exhale. So what we're going to do is just tap you in to channeling, easier than you've ever channeled before. Breath in. Good. That's all there is to it. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for participating in that activation so fast, right? It's very unusual that I do the longer activations, but I do them, and I do them in my one-on-ones and in my various programs. They're 20 to 40 minutes. So if you felt something in that little 4-second activation, you're definitely going to feel something in those other ones. And I also do a meditation series every Monday, releasing a new 20 to 30 minute meditation that might include more activations throughout. So thank you so much for listening to that, and I am excited about where it can lead you. What I would do is I would come back and listen to that activation a few more times, and you can also download a nervousness relief activation from my website by connecting to the link in the description below. It's a free activation. All right. So hopefully that helped you, and once again, please remember to subscribe and to leave a comment and to like the video so that other people can find it. And please ask questions, because if you do, then I can make a follow-up video to answer all of your questions about talking to your guides. Thanks again. I love you unconditionally, and I'll see you in the next video.